Folks, sin corrupts. It corrodes. Right? I want y'all to think for a second of some nuclear waste. All right? How close does any of us want to get to nuclear waste? Unless it was your job of having to actually handle that and you were getting paid good money, I think everybody in this room would not willingly walk up next to nuclear waste, right? You wouldn't handle it for sure. That's what sin is inside of all of us. It is nuclear waste that corrodes and corrupts you. Amen? James 1:15. Then when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, brings forth death. How much sin do you want to mess with? A little bit? I can mess with a little bit and I know I'll be all right. Are you sure? How do you know? It says when it's full grown, it brings forth death. How close to death do you really want to be? I always like to bring up this point. There's a guardrail right here. And right below is the Grand Canyon. You have vertigo, you have fear of heights. You don't want to be anywhere near where there's a drop off, right? Do you walk all the way up to the edge and say, look at there? Yeah? How about stand on the guardrail? Oh, is this the good time to find out if you have good balance? When I was a kid, my mom took me to a zoo one time. And this was back before, they had a lot of protection. And one of my favorite things was alligators. One of my favorite things was to look at alligators. My grandpa used to tell me stories of alligators all the time. Well, for whatever reason, I ran away from my mom and I ran right to the alligators. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I figured it out, but I found them. And I'm going to tell you, buddy, I was standing on the rail looking down at alligators, and there was a pit below of nothing but alligators with mouths wide open. And I don't know, God must have needed me here because I didn't slip and fall in, but I could have. But that image was stuck in my mind forever. That incident was stuck in my mind forever. How close do you really want to be to sin? Because it's just that quick before you fall into it. It's that quick before you fall into the pit and you can't get out and you're stuck now. One of the worst things to be stuck in is alligator jaws, because when they lock, they're locked and you can't pry them back open. And I'm going to tell you, once you get stuck in sin, it's hard to unlock it. Yes, God can get you out. But do you really want to play with it? It's a live hand grenade. Do you really want to play with a live hand grenade? When we put sin into terms like that, it helps us understand how much we should avoid it. Amen? I understand we live in a world that is full of it. At one point I had 3 dogs. And our backyard was covered in poop. And I had to put together some things, and I was it felt like every other step I was stepping in poop, and I was getting so frustrated because I was trying to avoid it, right? But it just felt like every other step I'm stepping in, having to wash my foot off, and it was just kept getting on me. But did you think I ever liked it one time? Folks, this world might have poop dookie landmines is what I like to call it. Sin landmines all over the place. You might get it on you from time to time, but your aim is never to purposefully step in it, right? That's how we need to look at sin. Something disgusting, something corrosive, something evil, because that's how God views sin. Do we ever need to play with it intentionally? Never. Amen?